In 1977, George Foreman walked into the ring to face Jimmy Young. To most fans, this was just another step in Foreman's comeback tour, a tune-up, a formality. Foreman was the monster of the heavyweight division, still young and dangerous. Jimmy Young was a slick, defensive fighter, known more for frustrating opponents than finishing them. Nobody expected this to be even close, but that night, something broke. Not just inside the ring, but inside George Foreman himself. The fight went the distance. Young didn't knock Foreman out. He didn't need to. He outboxed him. And in the final round, when Foreman hit the canvas, the moment was symbolic. It was the end of an era. The invincible George Foreman, who had once destroyed Joe Frazier and Ken Norton like they were amateurs, was done. And just like that, he walked away. For 10 years, George Foreman didn't throw a punch in a professional ring. This was the moment where the myth of George Foreman ended, and the man behind it was forced to face who he really was. Before his first loss, George Foreman was seen as unstoppable. This wasn't a boxer who outpointed you on the scorecards. He wasn't trying to impress the judges. He came to destroy anyone who dared to challenge him. In 1973, the undefeated Joe Frazier stepped into the ring with Foreman. Frazier was the king of the heavyweight division. He was the champion, the man who beat Muhammad Ali. But what happened next didn't even feel real. Frazier didn't just lose, he got dismantled. Foreman dropped him 6 times in less than 2 rounds. It looked like a total mismatch. And if that wasn't enough, Foreman did the same to Ken Norton the very next year. Norton was the man who broke Ali's jaw and gave him hell in 3 fights. Foreman destroyed him in under 4 minutes. Before Muhammad Ali humbled him in Zaire, George Foreman was seen as something close to unbeatable. Not just a heavyweight champion, but an unstoppable juggernaut with terrifying knockout power. And when that kind of power walks into a boxing ring, the question isn't if you'll lose, it's how fast. Then came the rumble in the jungle. Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. One of the most epic fights in boxing history. Foreman came in as the champion. He was undefeated, younger, and stronger. Everyone expected Ali to get crushed. He was past his prime, they said. Too old, too slow. But Ali wasn't planning to trade punches. He had a strategy that made no sense until it worked. From the opening bell, he leaned on the ropes, covered up, and let Foreman swing. Round after round, Foreman threw everything he had. Body shots, hooks, haymakers. But most of it landed on Ali's arms and elbows. Ali just sat there and absorbed it. And slowly, Foreman started to fade. Then came round 8. Ali saw the opening. He came off the ropes and fired a quick combination that sent Foreman crashing to the canvas. The seemingly unbeatable champion was knocked out. Just like that, the invincibility was gone. The myth was over. From that point on, Foreman was never quite the same. George Foreman didn't vanish after losing to Ali. He was bruised, sure, but he wasn't done, not yet. He still had the power, still had the name, and deep down, he wanted it all back. The title, the fear, the dominance. So, he went to work. Then came Lyall. And that fight was pure madness. No finesse, no dancing, just raw violence. They traded knockdowns like it was a backyard brawl. But Foreman survived. He dug deep and stopped Lyall in one of the wildest heavyweight fights ever recorded. It wasn't clean, but it showed heart. It showed grit. Foreman was no longer the unstoppable monster from '73, but he was clawing his way back, trying to rebuild the legend, trying to prove that he still belonged at the top. In 1976, he stepped back into the ring with Joe Frazier. Foreman didn't waste time. He dropped Frazier, again, and stopped him in the 5th round. It wasn't as violent as their first fight, but the message was clear. Foreman still had it. The path to redemption had started, and Foreman was all in. In 1977, George Foreman stepped into the ring with Jimmy Young. On paper, this looked like a safe bet. Foreman was still a big name, still dangerous. Young, by contrast, was slick and defensive, smaller, not a power puncher. Most people expected Foreman to walk through him. But this wasn't the same George Foreman from 1973. This was a different man, carrying the weight of the Ali loss, the pressure of redemption, and a growing sense of doubt. And Jimmy Young didn't come just to survive. He came to fight. From the opening rounds, Young showed no fear. He stayed mobile, used the entire ring, slipped Foreman's punches and fired back with sharp counters. Foreman did land some heavy shots, punches that would have ended most other fighters. But Young refused to fold. He kept popping Foreman with fast combinations, clean, calculated shots. He frustrated him, tired him out, made him look flat-footed and confused. Round after round, Young made Foreman miss, again and again and again. Then came the 12th round. Young landed a beautiful counter and dropped Foreman to the canvas. Foreman got up, but something was different. The fight was over. Jimmy Young won, and he earned it. With intelligence, speed, and sheer courage. In the locker room after the fight, Foreman collapsed. He later said he had a near-death experience.
You actually felt you were dying.
I saw death. I saw it.
And from that moment, he walked away from boxing. For more than a decade, he didn't fight. Not because he couldn't, but because something broke inside him that night.